Hello and welcome to KU Vision, your local news programme which covers the stories and features making headlines and making heads turn. On today's show, the fighter who boxed his way out of trouble. And joining Kingston's fun at Kingston Stock Market.
Pain and anger and sorrow are very destructive energies when met by human frailty, yet great mental strength could help direct these feelings to become productive. One young man has overcome his weakness, which led to drugs and drink, and turned himself into a talented boxer and is now back on track to achieve a new dream.
We didn't have the luxuries of punching bags. We started from punching walls.
એ સ્પોટ ડેન્જરસ છે, સેફ નથી, એના ડેડીને બિલકુલ ગમે નહીં.
Well, mothers will be mothers. It's natural instinct, I suppose. He's got passion for boxing, and he's very good at it. I know when to throw in the towel because, I'm family.
I've seen him take punches, and too many shots to the head can lead to Parkinson's disease like Muhammad Ali.
Well, he had to become the head of the house pretty quickly, which meant, he didn't go back to his drug addiction. Boxing replaced this, which is a good thing in my eyes. At the end of the day, he channeled all of his energy into one kind of like activity, which just made sure that he stayed out of trouble and didn't go back to any of his drugs or anything else they used to do.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Feltham. Yeah, it was a tough neighbourhood to grow up in. I just remember fighting. You just get beaten up for just being brown. 10 years ago, it was just a really racist area. When I first got into boxing, it wasn't because of passion. It was because I was frustrated. I didn't get into the sport because I liked it. It was just like I was angry. My father was disabled. He was walking home one day from work and that's it, bang, he got hit by a truck. His legs were gone. That's it, his life was over. That's why I say if you have a dream, you run as fast as you can to catch it because you don't know what's around the corner. I'll come home and he's just on the bed, it was like watching him die for 20 years on a bed. And I think that's where the drugs kicked in, I'll do drugs, I'll drink alcohol. It was just like a way to run away from a place. It would take me to it would take me away from this place, take me to this place that I wanted to be instead of here. And it was tough. I know what I'm getting myself into when I'm in that ring. I know the risks I'm getting myself into. But that's why I have to dedicate myself to that craft. If you step into the ring knowing, I'm going to get hit, or my life's at risk, as soon as the fight starts, before the fight starts, you've lost. Because you're not confident. You need to be confident. Take that fear away, and you never know, you might be the greatest.
Designing a car to race at Silverstone is the dream of many automotive engineers. Few professionals actually get the opportunity to take a car they have built themselves to the iconic track. However, last year, Kingston University students designed a car that entered the International Stadium as part of a competition run by the Institute of Mechanical Engineers. The Formula Student competition was a great opportunity for our budding car designers.
Last year, Kingston University students from the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Computing built an electric car to be part of Formula Student for the first time.
We made it, we're here at Silverstone, so it proves that we are on the right track.
Their hard work throughout the year culminated with an event at Silverstone, the home of British motorsport.
The amount of teamwork is just tremendous. It really has provided an enormous opportunity for students to learn way beyond what they could learn in their classroom.
The KU e-racing team managed to defy the odds and bring a car to Silverstone in under a year.
We're all learning from this immense amount. I'm I'm sure they're learning lots and they will be able to use what they've learned in the future in their job.
Biggest challenge for us at the beginning was to get the car here to start with as a first year car student team, but the biggest we had to overcome was try to get the car to scrutineering and hopefully pass scrutineering. That would be a challenge in itself. The scrutineering process involves members of the FIA to look over the car, look at our designs, look at how we build the car, how we put the car together. They're scrutinising every single little detail in the car because their job is to ensure that the car passes all the checklists and that the car is safe.
The team eagerly awaits the results of scrutineering.
What I'm expecting from scrutineering now is for the car to come out and for us to have a list of things that have to change. What I'm hoping for is that the things that have to change are minor, not major manufacturing issues.
No matter what happens now in the scrutineering, because to build the car in this short time was a great effort, but we did it. So we're waiting to see what happens next.
Let's see how it goes, how we pass the scrutineering, whether there will be many things to correct on the car, and certainly many aspects which we will learn from the experience of this year and will improve next year.
Despite the team's best efforts, the car did not reach the dynamic testing stages. But what they've achieved in a year has been remarkable.
I feel amazing. I feel absolutely amazing of what we've accomplished. We have a car. It didn't pass scrutineering, but it doesn't mean it's a bad car. So we didn't fail. We accomplished more than what other teams. And considering we're a first-year team that actually showed up with a car that works, I think that is a huge accomplishment.
Well, for the first year, we've done extremely well. Because even at our university, no one believed that we're actually going to get this car over to Silverstone. And it's not only that it's here, it's actually running on its own power.
And the team shows no signs of slowing down either.
The target for next year is to get some times, get the first times for Formula Student for Kingston University under the name of KUV13.
And then, as soon as we come back from holiday, we'll probably start working on it again.
So definitely we'll be entering next year, and hopefully we have a even better car than this time.
And any last words? It's motorsport. It's motorsport.
Motorsport, Formula Student 2013. We're here, we've done it. See you next year.
So after the event at Silverstone last year, plans for this year's car are well underway. And these young engineers look set for another groundbreaking year.
Following last year's achievements, what will the Formula Racing team achieve this time? Preparations are already underway for 2014, and we're joined in the studio by Hugo Valencia, Operations Manager, and Harry Schoen, Suspension Analyst. The car didn't make it past scrutineering last time. Have you overcome your problems this year?
The way we have to look at this project is a progressive project. It's all about advancement. So our car of last year set the datum of where we start. We're looking at overcoming this. We're pretty confident that we've done it already. It's the process of building the car now. Some of the parts that we've done in order to overcome this is to launch a Class 2 team that looks at doing research for us, for the new car, 1 year in advance. This is Harry.
Hi. So what else would help you get your car over the starting line?
So what we're doing is we're taking what they've done in the past and we're doing research into a new design that adheres to all the rules and overcomes all the problems they did. So we know what issues they had and we're implementing that into what we're designing in the chassis and the suspension to make sure it can compete in the subsequent year.
Okay, great. And what are you guys looking for from sponsors and contributors? You know, like how can they benefit you?
Sponsors are very important to the team, to the whole project in a way. We can't not progress without the donations by sponsors. We're looking at everything. We're looking at money. We're looking at materials. We're looking at support. Looking at advice. We recently signed up with a very famous racing company called Radical Racing. They're going to provide us with parts and knowledge, and in turn, they help future engineers develop future engineers.
Okay, well that's brilliant. Thank you, Hugo Valencia and Harry Schoen. A big thank you for coming to the studio today.
Fantastic, thank you for having us.
With the release date of 2015 recently revealed for the new Star Wars, we take a look at how the Galactic Empire's army of stormtroopers began the first steps into a larger world and how they're still living amongst us.
Here at the edge of Twickenham is where Andrew Ainsworth first created the Stormtrooper.
You know, when that film opened, the Stormtroopers burst out, and that was different, seriously different at the time.
In 1976, George Lucas started production on Star Wars. However, he first needed a costume created for the Stormtrooper. It was Andrew Ainsworth who took on the job creating the iconic Stormtrooper costume.
He rang up and he said, well, give me 3 white ones and 2 black ones. These were helmets, i.e. 3 goodies and 2 baddies. And it was that thin on script. Nobody's seen the script. I don't think any of the actors even saw a script. And so we made what we gave these characters names, and I used to give them like Jawbone because one of the black ones had a big jaw on it, and a Cheese Grater because it had a load of holes in it like Emmental cheese. Yes, it's the most unindustrial process you could ever imagine. It's a bit of a black art manipulating thermoplastics, but if you're good at sort of sculpting and you understand shapes and how strong things have got to be just strong enough to withstand the pressure or temperature you're going to put on them, you can get away with things that normal industry wouldn't even consider, and that's basically how you can make things so fast for the film industry. And so on the right hand side, I think it's the right eye of the Stormtrooper looking at him, there's a little slip where because I cut the eyes out with the Stanley knife, there's a little slip where I nearly cut my finger off, and we have to reproduce it every time. And I've still got all my fingers. And they're passionate about it. They know every detail. They know more than I do. I mean, we've got, if you look downstairs, we still make them here. And we've got little photographs on the wall to remind us what mistakes we made with the originals, because we've got to still make the same mistakes, otherwise they're no good. But the fans know, you know, it's very important, these things.
Founded in 1997, a costuming organisation called the 501st Legion attended fan-based charity events. This is where they dress in the iconic Stormtrooper costume for adoring Star Wars fans. Gary Hales, the CEO of the UK Garrison, gives us a further insight into the life of a Stormtrooper.
Everybody has their own costume. Everybody comes to this because they have a love of Star Wars or have a love of costuming or a combination of the two. Everybody who becomes what we call a cleared member of the 501st, i.e. gets a costume to a standard that reaches the level that allows you to enter the 501st, gets what's known as an ID number, colloquially known as a TKID number. Stormtroopers are known within the 501st and actually more generally as TKs. That was then adopted so that all the Stormtroopers had a TK number. It started out, it was a minimum of 3 digits, generally 4. It's now reached the stage where it's at 5 digits. We have that many members, so it's gone into the 10,000s. And the money that they receive, all 100%, literally 100%, goes to charity.
That modern filmmaking with its computerization hasn't actually overtaken the real thing. A computer just hasn't yet reproduced it, and so we're still here.
Whether CGI reaches the point of realism or not, it's clear that Stormtroopers have made a mark, and they are here to stay.
Many purpose-built buildings of the last century have lost their attraction as our society no longer requires their facilities. However, some of the more interesting architectures have been repurposed to create a new social space for popular activities today.
Surbiton's Coronation Hall is currently a Wetherspoons pub, a popular and well-known franchise of pubs worldwide. We looked into the history of the location and it turned out some rather interesting information. The day before King George V was crowned on the 21st June 1911, the Coronation Hall was opened, hence the name. Originally it was built to be a lecture hall, but it eventually changed and was made into a public cinema. It held approximately 650 people, which are equivalent to some of the IMAX around today. In 1947, the cinema was officially rebranded as the Roxy Cinema, which stayed like that up until 1964 when it was renamed the Ritz Cinema. The Ritz only ran for a year and then it was abruptly closed. We went down there and had a chat with the local residents and regulars of the pub, Tony Smith and David Malcolm. When we asked the pair why they thought the pub was special, this is what they had to say.
When I first came in here a few years ago, they had the cinema theme, but they also had the old photographs of people the film stars in the 40s. And again, I mean, I wasn't born then, but I like the old films. So it's lovely. It's just got a fantastic atmosphere, and also ambience, and also the people, the atmosphere in here. In most Witherspoon pubs that I've been into, they're lovely.
And this place it's got lots of history, but it still has. I mean, you've seen the photos on the wall, and it's a great place. It's a shame all cinemas they went, and they've all been modernised now.
After the cinema shut in 1996, a bingo was opened in its replacement. A 27-year run was interrupted when the ownership of the building went to a company who opened a nudist health bar where the bingo once was.
It was very well known in the neighbourhood as a naturist thing. Whether that was true or not, I don't know, because I didn't do it. I promise.
As seen, the jacuzzi is still there.
It was a nudist spa, or some sort of spa at least.
Shift leader Roseanne has worked in Coronation Hall for 4 years. She tells us about her time at Coronation Hall and her experience with some of the customers.
There was one man I was talking to the other day, and he was talking about the swimming pool, where it was, because he said that he's helped build it and started building it. And then another guy was like, there's a gym upstairs. We built a gym, and I was like, oh, there isn't.
Much of the cinema structure still remains, but it's unused and abandoned beneath the popular pub floors. However, hints of it still remain. In Kingston History Library, we found an original pamphlet document dated from 1958 regarding the management and service of the hall. Astonishingly, the hall was also used for a huge variety of different purposes, and some were quite surprising: dancing, wrestling, boxing, orchestral and choral concerts, church meetings, school speech days, BBC broadcasts, badminton. The hall would have always been alive, full of people, and was evidently an integral part of the local community.
There's a shop in the heart of London known as the Unordinary Bakery, Johnny Cupcakes. This shop uniquely sells a very exclusive line of merchandise, but it may not be that all it seems.
No, we do not sell cupcakes. Some people get a bit upset that we don't sell cupcakes, but thankfully there are some other shops around here that do, so we just send them towards those. They tend to be quite angry when we tell them they can't get cakes here, and they don't believe us. They'll walk in and they'll do an entire lap of the shop. It's not the biggest shop in the world, and they'll do an entire lap convinced that they're going to find cupcakes. Johnny Cupcakes started as a joke, more or less. Our boss, Johnny, he decided that he wasn't going to kit the shop out like a normal clothes shop. He wanted to make it like a bakery. So the t-shirts were displayed in bakery cabinets. There was a fresh smell of like freshly cooked bread. We've got a very tight-knit community across the world. We have fans in London that will go out of their way to pick up London exclusive shirts for fans in other towns and countries that can't get those shirts themselves. And likewise in Boston and Los Angeles. In London we have the Union Jack crossbones on a cupcake. You won't be able to get that on the online store or in the Los Angeles or Boston stores. One year we actually took all the t-shirts downstairs and just sold cupcakes. So for once the people coming in wanting cupcakes, they got what they wanted. We do Halloween events. We just had our Halloween event last week. All the staff got dressed up. We had a Mexican Day of the Dead theme. We had a magician come in. We have movies playing. We do birthday anniversaries. All these events, there'll be special exclusives that you can only get within the store.
I didn't know much about Johnny Cupcakes until today, and now I have converted, and every single time I come to London now, I'm going to definitely go in there.
I'm actually a really big fan of the brand, and I have been for a few years now. I'm wearing a t-shirt today from them, which is from one of their stores in America. I've also got their balances on my bag. I love the cake and crossbones design. I think it's really cool and different, and yeah, I really love coming to the shop.
Okay, I was expecting cupcakes in that store, but it
was a little bit disappointed because it was only goodies and t-shirts and stickers, but I think the spirit is good, so it was a very good place.
So I went into the shop expecting to buy some cakes for my mum, but I went in and they didn't actually sell any cakes, just t-shirts, so I was a bit disappointed and I didn't get any cakes.
I was kind of expecting some like cupcakes, really, that's what it says in the title, so kind of disappointed. I was like wanting to eat some cupcakes, but well, there you go. So it's just closed in the end, so I'm going to go into here and see if I can get some.
As many of you are familiar with, Kingston is famous for its ancient market. However, last Halloween, a different kind of market came to our town. Raisa Enzam tells us more.
Kingston has been home to bustling markets for over 800 years, with the earliest market on record taking place back in the early 13th century.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market event. I'm Raisa Enzam and today we're here in Kingston celebrating one of London's award-winning nights.
Tailored to each location where it appears, the stock market aims to provide a fun and innovative evening for the local community where quality and service are paramount.
Sharon is one of the founders of the stock market.
They centre on cheap, delicious street food, but it means that there's this fantastic atmosphere every evening, and when I came back to London, I thought I'd give it a try. But it's gone from strength to strength, and people now are familiar with us and they know about us and they like to come.
And where does all this variety come from?
Coincidentally, when we first started, was that the beginning of this explosion of street food generally in London. And so suddenly there was all this amazing new street food traders who were looking for markets to work in. So we had this kind of great choice.
That's very good. I like how they work, how they promote the market, the marketing, the traders. All the time there's a good balance. It's more like a party in a market at the same time, for live music. The vibe is very good, so I'm happy to be here all the time.
How do small businesses benefit from the stock market?
Well, it's a really perfect platform for really small individual producers of work who don't necessarily have the funds or the finance or even the material to have a retail outlet, and this kind of event is perfect for them.
We're actually part of Kingston College, so we're students in a second year in foundation art and design degree. What we've done is that we've got to be proactive in like our experiences, so this is why I've approached Stock Market to come and have a place here, but they're really excited to have us part of it.
Well, we've got a fabulous DJ, Nova Stephen, who has compiled a very top-notch selection of ghostly themed music. And later on we have a fabulous mariachi band who'll be playing special Day of the Dead songs. Obviously, of course, we've got the Kingston University students who have prepared and created a whole range of Halloween-themed activities. In each location, it should be unique to that particular neighbourhood, which makes the market, more than a market, it makes it an event and a happening, and totally unique to that particular area.
This was like the best Halloween I ever had, ever. Yeah. Everybody.
How do you find the atmosphere?
Oh, it's awesome. It's like everybody's dressed up. They're not like, yeah. Even the parents are dressed up. I even saw a parent with like spider hat on. It was really funny.
There's always really good food, and like everyone else comes out to sort of have fun with each other. So yeah, it's always good.
Yeah, really fun.
That's it for today, folks. I mean, I had a great time. I enjoyed the atmosphere, and this stock market event was amazing. I had plenty to taste, a lot to eat, and next time I'll see you guys, it'll be during Christmas period time. We are joined in the studio by Bart Ricketts. Hello, Bart.
Hi there, how you doing?
In the past, why would the council encourage events like the stock markets?
Yeah, I used to be a councillor for the town centre, and they set up a partnership with Kingston First. And the idea of the partnership was to try and organise more events in Kingston and to attract more people to the town centre and try and make it more of a fun and interesting experience to shop, and to try and run different activities to get more people to attend and to shop in Kingston.
Okay, was that difficult?
I think it's trying to get into partnerships and organising different groups of people to work together without actually affecting the current market that is there at the moment. So trying to attract new people to sell different items, and that wouldn't affect the current retailers in the town centre.
Okay, so what other events have the council worked on?
I say one of the biggest events we've organised is Kingston Carnival,
Okay.
which is normally in September, which is working with lots of charities and organisations. They have lots of market stalls there and lots of events, and that's an event over one main day. They also do the Maybury and other activities throughout the year. To have a calendar of events now that takes place, and it's really to make the market and the town centre more enjoyable, but more activity based, more music based, and more of a fun place. If you decide to go somewhere shopping, you think, well, let's go to Kingston and see what's on, and it'll hopefully attract more people. More people will stay and eat in Kingston, enjoy the socialising as well as just shopping.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
That's all we have time for in this programme. We'll be back in the new year with our next programme. Goodbye from everyone in the studio. Until then.